It doesn't show us as well. There we go.
Neutron. I know you wanna lay down. Take your time. The time is right with you. I know you wanna stay now. Girl, let's ride. Come show me how you do. Yeah. All I want is you, baby. All I want. All I want. All I want is you, baby. More than I need, what you want, girl, it's yours. Give me your feelings, I just can't ignore. 'Cause all I want is you, baby. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Give me your time, all your love, I've been patient. I won the game, girl, I passed all the stages. Say what you want, you can have, 'cause you're special. You are my favorite, that ain't changing. Girl, I'm stuck on you, can't get you out my mind. I need you, only one by my side. Can I, baby, do you right? Show you the finer things, how it's supposed to be. Give you all of me, I'm here for you. You're my fantasy, I dream of you.
What's up? Like, share.
Let people know we on.
You're in here, say hello. I don't see any names in the chat. We're doing this long today. Hey Shayla, I just sent your desserts on with Naya. Hello. I don't know why I did that if I'm having this. It's fine. Hey Brittany, hey Jay. Thanks for joining us for the makeup. You're welcome. It's 15 minutes.
Yeah, with it.
Oh yeah, I was trying to type before you came downstairs, and I wasn't about to correct it. I thought I heard you coming. What up? Y'all know the routine. We are here. We're gonna get started with the official opening, but while you're waiting, please tell us who you are in the chat. Stop playing music without dropping the links later.
Who that, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Gabby J. Those actually handwritten by yours truly, not released. That's a original, produced and written by Russell Davis IV. You feel me? Sorry, that's not available to the world. Shoot me your email player. DM me your email player. I got you. I'll send it to you.
He do music too. He be trying to steal stuff. Don't send it nothing.
Don't do that.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started because my phone is gonna die and we're gonna lose Instagram. So.
Did everybody everybody who's here? Are you guys represented? Y'all know we shout y'all out on the pod, so just want to make sure we know y'all here so we can let the world know.
Hey,
that you linked in with us.
Candace.
We
All right, babe, come on. Ugh. Thanks for joining us, Candace. Where am I? Saw that lock out of place.
Right, here we go.
What's up, Instagram?
All right, we about to intro the pod, everybody. Get that out of here. What's going on, world? It's your boy Russell the Fourth.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Brandy.
And welcome to a Better Late Than Never episode recap of the What They Never Told Us podcast. What's going on? We are back and glad to be back. Hope your holiday was everything.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm trying to fix myself.
Yeah, you're going through a whole thing over there.
Is all out of place. I meant to put my hair in a ponytail and I forgot.
You throwing it in my face because you got hair.
But we are live today. Today is Friday if you're listening. Because Wednesday, it was just a lot going on. And it was the day before Thanksgiving. And I was like, in the 9th hour, I was like, you know what? We're just not going to do this.
A whole ordeal.
So let's go ahead and just message everybody or put a message out and say, look, we're not going live tonight, but we will make it up to y'all on Friday. So here it is on Friday. We here. And how y'all been?
I got a question. Which one of y'all was out here in these streets lined up in front of these stores? Who did some Black Friday shopping? Anybody?
I was right in my bed on Amazon.
That part ain't. It's probably not even like it used to be no more. Now that they got, I mean, like how back in the day when I used to work retail, Black Friday was downright violent.
Not violent.
Yeah, they was fighting for that
I do not like
toy.
Instagram.
Focus.
View.
Focus.
What we're looking like. Meemaw.
No one knows what you're talking about, right? So yeah. Anybody get in them Black Friday lines? How was your holiday? Ours was good. At least it was for me. How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good. I ate way too much, of course, and then was miserable for the rest of the night. But it didn't stop me from eating. I had like 4 plates, so I slept real good.
Yeah.
Took a couple little papaya enzymes to settle my stomach so I could go to bed, and I was good.
Yeah, I was in a little bit of a coma this morning. I was having a hard time shaking myself out of it. It was rough. Wake up was rough.
And it's definitely been a lazy day. So anyways, shout out to everybody that's in here. We definitely pray that y'all had a great Thanksgiving. But in the chat, we have Shayla, Brittany, Jay, Candace, who is new, Aisha, who is new, and not Jay's Aisha, Des, Nurse, Margie. Hope I said that right.
Brittany
and
White.
And Tyrants Bay.
Brittany White's also in the building. What's up?
Okay. If they don't say their name, I can't see them. So you got to shout out the ones that's just in there.
I got you.
Okay. All right. So, but
Frog said you was too busy cleaning chitlins on Wednesday.
I don't clean chitlins. I eat chitlins with no shame, but I was not cleaning them. That was my mama. Jay says it's a no for me. That PTSD is too bad, but she, meaning his wife Aisha, went out and said the deals were pure trash. Jay says I was about to ask. I'm not sure what you was about to ask. And Brittany says, "Hey cousin."
Hey cousins, what's going on?
Hey Ariana. All right, so who had a chance to listen to the episode? Hey, Aaron and Sierra are also on Instagram. What's up, y'all?
What up? Who got a chance to listen to the episode? This episode, I've said it a few times, but this is my favorite episode that we've ever done. I really enjoyed this episode.
Favorite that we've ever done? That's a bold statement.
I really think that this today was my favorite conversation that we've had on What They Never Told Us.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite, but I definitely think that it was a really good conversation. I actually got into a little spat on TikTok with somebody over one of the clips. We were going back and forth for a while. I think that for whatever reason, the independent woman conversation is always a hot topic. and you get definitely varying opinions from one end of the spectrum to the other. I think I kind of fall somewhere in the middle, but there are some definitely some people who were like, I don't want nobody to need me. I want them to want me. And I'm like, what does that have to do with the conversation that we're having? It's great, whatever you want, whatever works for you, but that has nothing to do with the conversation that we're having.
That was just you could tell that was just someone who was dead set on, this is what I think, and there's nothing you're going to say, no matter how much sense it makes, to change my position. But I want to know what y'all think about that, because there was a point that was made on the episode. If you haven't had a chance to listen to it, and we have a couple people that said they did. I see Jay, Des, Shay, Brittany said they listened. Shout out to y'all. Round of applause to y'all. Y'all the true champs. But there was a point in the episode where we talked about where I think everybody, whether you're male or female, wants to feel like there's something that you do that adds value, something that you like, like, look, I need this from you, for us to function and for us to have life more abundantly. You know what I'm saying? I need these attributes from you. And I posted a clip with that statement, and she was like, I don't want nobody to need me. I want to know what you guys think about that. How many of you want to feel valued and needed in your relationship dynamics? Is that important to you?
Do you see a difference in that? Like, I think where that girl was coming from is she was saying, like, I don't want nobody to feel like they need me. I want them to want me, which, like, in the case of a need, I was trying to clarify for her that it's not like a need to survive. Like, it's not like you need somebody like you need air and water, and if they leave you, you're going to drop dead, because it's a need that you have that is vital to your survival. A need just means that it's required for your happiness, and like, I need that. Yeah. You determine what you need, and there's nothing wrong with saying that I need my husband. Like, there are things that he offers to me that I have realized I just don't either possess, or I can't give those things to myself. So having someone who adds value to my life, that makes everything that I do better, like, I need that. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and also your needs are based on who you are as a person, right? So for someone who cares nothing about creature comforts, right, he might not need money. He might be perfectly fine living on the street, living off the land, going from place to place, just seeing where the wind blows. I have a coworker who did that for years. Just hopped on trains, went across, like, didn't know where she was going to sleep at night, but that was just her life. And for her, that worked. For me and the life I want to live, in my mind, I'm like, no, there's certain things that I know I need, right? So it's not even about this need is life or death, but it's quality of life, right? For the life I want, there's certain things that I need for the life that I want, right? So I just don't think she could grasp the concept that, like, well, it's not like if you don't have it, you're going to die. We're not saying that.
It's just like, so if he perished, like, are you going to perish too? I'm like, what?
Yeah, there's just certain things that in life I just won't have if they're not here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah. And that gives you a small glimpse, right, of the tension that's kind of there. Like, for whatever reason, she don't even want that. Like, I just want someone who's fun to be around and it's cool and ain't gonna be no drama. That's all you want. That standard is real low. Yeah. That's it. Okay.
And when you get that, well, I don't know. I ain't gonna say she's not gonna be satisfied, but
she won't. You can say it. She won't. You're not gonna be satisfied with that.
You're gonna do a lot of compromising.
That part. Absolutely. But it's a big conversation, and there's a lot of tension, I feel, between, especially here in the States, and I've said it over and over again, I'll stop saying it, between men and women, especially black men and black women. There's so much tension. And I feel like, it's got to kind of come to a head before the healing starts. So that's why this episode was my favorite, because it was an important dialogue, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I don't know. It was a lot packed into that need and packed into what it truly means to be independent. Because I think that, again, just like a need, we try to take that dictionary definition or the literal definition and change it up to fit a certain characteristics of people, right? So when we say independent woman, it does not mean that she doesn't need anybody, that she doesn't depend on anyone. I think more in context, it's like the woman who's just a boss, a woman who handles things, a woman who's take charge, you can do it yourself. Not necessarily that I still don't need you, because I do. There are things, again, that I just can't do. So I need you. You add value to me in that way. But I could think that I can still be an independent woman in that scenario based on the context that we use that word. It doesn't mean that I'm not dependent on anyone for anything.
Yeah. I don't think most men have an issue with independent women. I think, well, I know there are some that just do.
I was about to say, nah.
I said most. I don't think most men do. I think that only is an issue when something that's deemed to be like independent clashes with a certain man's idea of what it means to, be the man in a relationship. And that's depending on what a man thinks his role is, right? But okay, if my idea is like, okay, let me be the man in this household, but I feel like I'm bucking against you every 5 minutes, then it's like, well, I don't know. To me, that's when the independent woman thing becomes the question. Okay, are you independent or are you controlling?
I just be feeling like if you got a weak ego, just say that, because
if you got like control issues, just say that. Like,
what's up, Mr. Big Shot? Hey, Candace. We got several Candaces, several Aishas. We're gonna have to start giving y'all like some little nicknames or something so y'all know who we talking to. But yeah, I definitely think it was a good conversation. I think there was we even had to now. I wish Danielle was on, because the couple episodes ago she was like, "Oh, y'all gonna get off and talk about that." This was an episode that we had to, like, when we got off, a couple days passed, and Russell's like, "So when you said, what did you mean?" And I'm like, "Oh, here we go." And that was with the whole there being a hierarchy in relationships. So we had to do some I don't know what the word is. We had to come to an understanding on what each other was trying to say during that conversation.
Yeah, a comment. Jalen says, I got a question. Is there a definition of too independent? I can understand a woman not having an issue with doing her own thing, but can it become too much for her to have a significant other?
Yes, it can be. There can be a such thing as too independent, but I don't think that that's just a standard across the board. Like, what makes someone, like Russell said on the episode, nobody wants to feel not needed, right? Just like you're just there and you deal with me when you want to and in certain scenarios, but I don't add any value to your life, or you make me feel like I don't add any value to your life, because everything that you need done, you just do it on your own. You don't consult me when it comes to making decisions. Yeah, that's a bit much. Like, in a relationship, it's two people in everything, especially in a marriage. So if you're doing things that leaves that person out, it's a problem.
Yeah, I think it's about balance. Like everything, like there's such thing as being too independent. There's also a thing with being too overbearing, too dependent, being too what's the word? Controlling. Like, as you have some men who have really just tarnished this idea of being submissive, because so many men have abused women behind this idea of I'm the man. Right. So now it's like, in today's present tense, it's like, who are you? Right. Like, who are you? Are you the type of person that's even like worth submitting to? So, you know what I'm saying?
That's what Candace says. So Candace on YouTube says, sometimes a woman is forced to take the lead. And we mentioned that a little bit on the episode, because I've definitely been in situations where it's like, oh, you too strong. You trying to take over. You doing this. But that strongness, that takeover spirit comes from the fact that, like, there are things that need to be done that you're just not doing. So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to sit back and just let things go by the wayside because you don't see that as my role as a woman. Like, if I am going to be able to submit to you, to allow you to be the head of the household, the leader in my life, like, you have to show me that you deserve that.
Yeah. And also around it, there's just communication, right? Like, I think sometimes when you're the doer, right, things that come natural to you or things that you would just naturally do, right? Sometimes it takes a little bit of take a step back and say, hey, look, are you going to do this, or can you do this, or communicating, right? So in the process of just doing what needs to get done, you're also creating some dialogue and expectation between, hey, look, this is what I need from you at this present moment. You know what I mean? Like, that stuff is helpful.
Yeah, Jay says, like, Russ, if you go outside and CB changing her own brakes, would you feel some kind of way?
Yeah, it's beef.
No, because you don't know how to change the brakes. I don't know how to change the brakes either, but
I'll figure it out. Nah, but I think what's behind that is like the desire to do well. Like, for instance, if we go out to eat, after we're done eating, if I am just like not thinking and I grab my to-go tray and I'm loading up my to-go tray, the look this woman will give me is like, what do you think you're doing? That's my thing. I pack up the food, right? You take the bag. Like, when you take the to-go trays, but I pack them up.
Yes, you have to carry everything.
I don't know where this came from, but this order exists in her mind of what her role is and what my role is. Now, I am not under any disillusion that thought just comes from the fact that, I need to control this situation. I really feel like this is something that she does because it's something in her mind that communicates, I love you. So when we go out, this is something I'm going to continue to do for you. Right? It comes from a place of her wanting to love me well. Mm-hmm. Now, with that same example, that exists other places as well. So if I see her taking out the garbage when I'm sitting right there, in my mind, I'd be like, yo, why do you feel like you can't come to me like that? Any issue I would have with that would just come from a place of, I just want to love you well. This is the way I want to love you. Why won't you let me?
Yes, I don't know what to say. I agree.
Yeah.
Candace says, right. And then the other Candace on Facebook says, that's very helpful. Aisha Warfield, who is also on YouTube, laughed, but I'm not sure what the laugh was in regards to. Sorry, sometimes the y'all messages don't line up where we're at in the conversation.
For those of y'all who are on the chat right now, for those of you guys who are in the building, I want to know, what is your like nature, right? Right now, coming into a relationship, are you more of the type that wants the person that you're with to take the lead, or are you more naturally inclined to take the lead? That's what I want to know from y'all. Y'all let me know. Who are you?
I'm definitely more inclined to take the lead. Yeah.
Huh? Me too.
Yeah. That's why we get into the tips that we do. Jay says, no, I feel like it's something that each other does. Like, I will be livid if I see her carrying groceries into the house. So do these things come from morals, ethics, or just something that society teaches us? I think all of the above. Like, they come from all of that. They come from how you were raised, what you saw, what you believe, what society says is a man's role versus a woman's role, which is why we always say y'all need to be having those conversations. Like, when I started, this is just a minor example, but when I started packing up his food at restaurants, like, I set the standard for that. Like, no, this is just something that I want to do. Like, that's not your role. When we go out to eat, this is a role that I want to take on for whatever it is. If you have that standard in your mind, like, groceries are my job. She goes out, she buys them. She has to put them in the car. In most places, you got to bag them yourself now. So when you come home, I want to do that for you. Don't do that. You have to tell her that, especially, I just know your wife personally. So especially if she's coming from a place where she's been doing this by herself before you were there. I was the same way where I'm like, yo, I can do this. It's not that I don't need you and I wouldn't love the help, but I'm also capable of doing it. And if you're in the house and I have to call you and wait for you to answer, then get your shoes on and do all that to come outside and get the groceries when I can just grab them. Yeah, I'm going to do the double-handed, I got too many bags and now they cutting off my circulation, but they going to get in the house. And it doesn't mean that you're less valuable to me in that way. It's just that I did it because he hasn't set the standard. He hasn't told me like, I don't want you bringing the groceries in. Now, if he says that, I'm going to leave them bad boys in the car and come in the door and sit down. But you have to set that standard in your relationship and communicate that that's what you would like to do. Otherwise, you cannot get upset with her for doing it.
Support that. Long-winded rant alert coming right now, okay? While I'm saying something, I want you guys, show of hands right now for all
wait, they already answering your last question.
Okay,
baby.
we'll get to it. Hold on. We got a whole hour to eat up. For those of you guys who are in the chat, add this as well. For the women who are in the chat, I want to know, I'm going to name some characteristics, and I want to know for you guys, are these attributes that you find attractive in a man specifically? Okay. Sure. Right? Someone who's decisive. Sure. A good judge of character. Intelligent, wise, caring, and a good communicator. Are those attributes attractive to you? All right. I got one more. Assertive, strong-willed. If these things are attractive to you, just put a hands up in the chat. Okay. That's all I got. I'll leave it there. Okay. Answer those questions. I got one yes, Candace.
Are you answering? Wait, you didn't go back to your previous question.
No, I didn't. I'm not there yet. I'm looking just right now for those qualities right now. Do you find that attractive? Des says yes. Candace says yes. I'll leave it there for now. If you're answering, continue to do so. So right, on just a nature level, right? And we kind of touched this on the episode, right? Just on a nature level. If you look throughout a pattern, throughout all species that God created, right? There is a specific flow, right? And a role between the males and the females, right? If you look at all lions and all lionesses, there's a flow there, right? The lions do certain things and the lionesses do certain things. Behind their mating, their procreation, there are certain attributes that are attractive to them between males and females. Gazelles everywhere. Every species has an order to it, right? So I'm under that belief that if that's God's intent throughout all procreation, throughout all his species, I don't think he switched it up when he got to men and women. I do think that us humans with our non-opposable thumbs and our forward thinking and all of our genius, I do think we're a little bit more nuanced, right? So long-winded way, but Jay, when you talk about like what makes, what was the thing Jay said? It was something like, what's the one you just responded to? It was like, what makes us...
He just said, so do these things come from morals, ethics, or just something that society teaches us?
I think it's a balance, right? So there is something just written in our code, right? Our code of what God created that makes us attracted to certain things. I think there's a level of just, this is what's nature, right? We talk about all the time, but like most of what men find attractive in a woman are reproductive traits. We like butts, we like breasts, but those are all things that talk or hint around to reproductive traits, right? There's that, but then there's what we've been through. Right? Most of who we are is based on the environment that we were raised in, right? So if you come from an environment where men were undependable, 9 times out of 10 in adulthood, you will not depend on adults. 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the case, right? So that's why this episode was my favorite, because that tension right there, where in large part there was an attack on the male in the black family structure. There's been generations of black women who have lived and had to find a way to thrive opposite of strong black men, right? So now when we find that there's been an awakening, and we haven't, like, I don't think people are realizing this, there has been a resurgence and a reviving of the black man. It's happening right in front of our faces. You have never seen this many young black fathers. You've never seen this many men talking about wanting to play an active role in their child's life. They're still the ones like, okay, of course, it's a healing process, but we're seeing a healing process. And as that happens, then we come back to the table, and now we got this tension, because what life has taught me is that I can't depend on you. But what I have in my nature is a desire to provide. What I have in nature is a desire to lead. These are things in just a code of nature that are hardwired into me as a man. But your environment has taught you that you can't trust me with that position. And I really believe that there's that tension that's existing right now in this dynamic. So long-winded, I apologize, but this subject is really passionate to me. I don't think I realized that until we kind of walked in on this. So yeah, there's that. We got some comments. We got a bunch of comments, so we'll jump into that. My bad. Des says, I'm learning to follow, but I'm a natural leader. Candace says, I'm more inclined to take the lead, learning to take a step back and ask for help. Christina, I'm taking the lead because your quality and mine may not be on the same page. Facts. Candace says, or even allow room for help to be offered. Facts. Add God-fearing, and we on. Oh, that was the characteristics. You're like, hold on, you add God-fearing to that, and I'm definitely about all of them characteristics. Jay says, bro, you spitting. Thank you, fam. Appreciate that. So yeah,
Candace on YouTube also says, I'm inclined to take the lead, but balance is great, and that they are all very important characteristics.
100%. Yeah, I'm all for independent. I really don't want that stuff to. I don't want when independence is birthed out of, not independence, but the strong female, the you can't tell me nothing, the I don't need a man in my life, that right there, when that's birthed out of hurt and pain and trauma because you've been failed by so many, like you've been failed by your father, you've been failed by all of these things. When it's birthed out of that, that's when it's like, okay, we got to talk about this. Yeah.
I mean, I do agree definitely that the history plays a part, but I think there are people who have a healthy balance in life growing up, but still get in a relationship. And some of the women in the chat kind of alluded to this. I get in a relationship with you. I'm trying to allow you to lead me because that's what I've seen in the house is the man takes the lead and do this, but you continue to let me down. What do I do then? And I think that also plays a part in a woman, or even if it's vice versa, then now I'm saying like, look, I can't depend on you to do this, so I have to do it for myself. And it creates a tension in the household because even if you have the desire to want to do that, you don't know how to execute that. Being a leader is more than just bossing someone around and telling them what to do. It's being an example in all manners, being truthful, being responsible, being dependable. All of that is being a leader. It's not just the person who makes the decisions in the home. And if you have a pattern of showing me that I can't depend on you to do any of that, one, I should make the decision that you're probably not the person that I should be in a relationship with, but not all the time we do that. We stay and we just make up for what's lacking.
Oh, you spitting as well.
So Desiree Adams says the Willie Lynch letters. I don't know if I know what that is.
Willie Lynch letters were supposed letters that the person who designed some of the mental and slavery tactics came up with.
Okay, yeah, yes, I have. Yes,
so
okay,
they speak to like the way that they broke down the black male in front of everyone to, you know,
yeah,
I
have heard of that.
Absolutely.
Jonathan Duncan, who is a newer name, he says, I think nature can shape one's habits, but everyone's nature isn't the same. Yes, we have natural nature habits, but the surroundings and the way one grows up can create human habits that counter nature. Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's not a new name either. That's the homie. What's up, fam?
And I remember him from a couple lives ago.
Yeah.
And then Candace on Facebook says, oddly, I'm attracted to those characteristics. However, my first impression of my husband was overly aggressive and overly assertive. I was completely unattracted to him in that regard initially. It wasn't until we actually had a conversation that I was able to see past that.
Real. I always feel split on this because I saw this dynamic in front of me my whole life. Right? Like my mom she's just like Brandy, like very headstrong, very strong-willed. And that was forged out of kind of like the same scenario. Her father passed away at a young age. She had to move in with uncle. It was a lot in her family of origin context, but for whatever reason, she's always had to be assertive, right? My dad is like me in a sense, very emotional, very hard on the sleeve type of guy. So there was always this clash of, nah, I'm a man. And also, all right, and you know, like, and I'm a woman. What up? You know what I mean? So I saw that scenario play out in front of me my whole life, and it even led into like my decision making, like when it came down to like picking who I want to be with. Right, one of the main things I was focused on was like, okay, are you someone who I don't got to wrestle with? I'm not, because I'm not going to do this tug of war back and forth of, you know what I'm saying? You know,
who's in charge?
Not even that, because, and I hope you could tell by the way I function, you would, I don't even walk around here like I'm in charge. Do I?
No.
Answer the question, because your face says something different.
Nah.
No. Are you being truthful?
I'm being truthful.
Well, what was that face?
Nothing.
Oh, don't do that.
Instagram messed up. You just made it just call. You want me to call attention to
Oh,
it?
that's why you did that?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, because I'd rather know that than to be thinking that you being, a little shady to the kid. But
It's not shady if I think that, but I don't think that.
It's shady if you think it, don't say it. So, yeah, I just don't want to do this tug of war of like you not respecting me. That's so important. And I think if you ask most men, what it boils down to is like, okay, do you respect me? Do you respect me? That's it.
Yeah, I think that our intentions sometimes definitely don't come off the way that we want them to, right? And especially when it's unspoken. Like for me, I am a get it done type of person. I don't intend to be bossy or pushy or step over boundaries. Like I just really want to make sure that we all function efficiently. However, if there are things that I would just naturally do, but he has a mind that like, hey, I should do this, or I'm going to do this, or this was on my list to do, but she just did it. It seems like I'm going against that when really I'm just really trying to make sure that everything that needs to be done in the day is done, whether I do it or you do it, that it's getting done. And I have an idea, just like everybody else does, of like when something should be done. Like
I wouldn't take that disrespectful either. Like
Yeah.
the stuff you're talking about, I don't think that's disrespectful.
But I guess that was one of the things that Jay said, like when it came down to the groceries and stuff. But we got some comments. So he said, he is Jay, says, so what if the views of things that a woman needs help with are not aligned with what the partner's views are? For instance, a woman wants a whole 1950s kind of relationship, but the skills that she wants the man to help with are something that he knows. Like she wants a man to fix the plumbing, change her oil, hang drywall, etc. But this ain't what he on or even has a desire to learn to know.
Well, that's why you assess that stuff in the beginning, right? There's nothing wrong with any preference that you have, right? So if you're a woman and that's really important to you and that's the type of man you want, then you discover that early in the relationship. hopefully that stuff don't come up when you're married and you move in together. Hopefully y'all talked about it enough, and the things that are important for you and a spouse. When you're dating in the beginning, you're assessing those things like, hey, yo, what's up? What do you think about drywall? What's up? So what type of man are you? You know what I mean? You know how to change his tire? You feel me? Like those are things you're asking. But a lot of times we don't have those conversations. We just, and this is the kind of current trend. The first thing that links us together is like a primal "I want you" type vibe, right? I like your pictures online. We flirting on social media. It leads up to like some sort of like hookup, and then we hook up and we're in a situationship, a sneaky link, whatever you want to call it, for an extended period of time, and then we just kind of fall into a relationship that's really had like a 4-month precursor of, you know, sexual intercourse and soul time, but we skip the whole intentionality of who are you? What do you like? What are your aspirations? You know what I mean? So by the time you really care about these things, you already in love with them. You already in love with them because you've been sharing the most intimate space that you can possibly share with another human with sex for months before you were in a relationship. Like that's the kind of current trend right now. So because we're not doing that dating phase right, we don't even get to weed that stuff out. But that stuff you got to figure out in the beginning, right? Because if you want someone who fixes drywall, then that's not the one for you if you don't know how to do that stuff. She asked me that early.
I did.
Early on, she was like, so, you know, you a manly man? Like, you know how to do like that? I was like, oh, no.
And it was my desire to have that, right? But for me, the other qualities that he possessed outweighed the fact that, like, if I want to add an addition to the house, he not going to be the one to do it. He can call somebody, but he not about to get out there and get his hands dirty. But if that is a non-negotiable for somebody, like, determining that up front, like Russell said, is highly important, because what you don't want to do is start catching feelings, be in a whole relationship, kids involved, family involved, and now you've determined that something that I really thought was a non-negotiable in my head, you don't possess. And now what do? Now I want you to be that, even though you were very upfront when we had the conversation a year into the relationship. Yeah, no, that's not me. And I don't really got a desire for that. But I want you to be that. So now what do? Now I'm going to push you to be that. And you're going to push back at me. And now we have this conflict of interest because we didn't have a conversation up front. And sometimes it's hard when you're in the beginning, when somebody displays that they don't have the qualities that you're looking for, but they are great in many other areas. And you don't want to feel like, oh, I might be missing out on the opportunity because he don't have some of the stuff that I want, but he got all of this that I didn't even know that I needed. Like, be real with yourself. If you have determined through your course of life and relationships that, look, you want this and you don't want that, and that person doesn't possess it, you have to be mature enough to be like, I need to walk away from this.
Absolutely. Jay said, be in labor and delivery, asking her what her favorite color is.
Legit. Have you seen all those things on like Jimmy Kimmel where they like stop couples in the street and be like, what's their favorite color? What color are our eyes? And they don't know. It's like, who you been dealing with? Like, you only want me for this one particular thing. I could tell you all about such and such and such and such, but the stuff that when's their birthday, like they don't know.
Yeah, you gotta get to know these people. It's a lost art.
He says dating is for data, or dating equals data.
Absolutely.
And then periods.
This is what I want to know, okay? Because this is important. I want to know on a blank scale, not specifically what you're attracted to, but I want to know what you think are important attributes specifically for the opposite sex in a relationship. For the person that you're with, what are your expectations for a man in your life or a woman in your life, right? And I think this is important because we all come to relationships with expectations.
Absolutely.
Well, they come from various places, our life experiences, our environment, maybe a show we watched. I watched Martin and Gina, and I said right then and there, see, that's what it's supposed to be like. We're supposed to be able to have jokes and have fun together. That's what it's supposed to be like. It came from a TV show, but it was something that was important to me. I want to know, in your mind, just drop it in the chat, write it in the chat. what are things that you think are just good to find in a man or a woman? That's what I want to know. You tell me. What do you think?
Well, Candace says, baby, this is Candace on YouTube. Y'all talking now. I got so wrapped up in all the lovey-dovey stuff, didn't see the imperfections.
Ooh. It's easy to do. The honeymoon
We've all been there.
the honeymoon period done got a lot of us.
We done all been there. And sometimes we see it, but we just choose to overlook it. It's like, because he makes me feel good. He or she makes me feel good. They make me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
They take me places. They spend money on me.
Mm-hmm.
So then all the other stuff. And then when that stuff start to fade or get old and you got to deal with who that person actually is,
Mm-hmm.
that's scary. Because now I'm like, oh, the money don't make that stuff go away. Now I got to deal with the fact that you rude. I got to deal with the fact that you don't really mess with my mama. Like, I got to deal with the fact that you're not really trying to build a relationship with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
When in the beginning, it was all good because there was a lot of the good stuff that was masking the things that I really needed to know about you.
Okay. Absolutely. So tell me, what do you think is attractive?
What qualities do I think is attractive?
Yeah, in a man. I didn't forget either. Write it in the chat while we talking.
Well, I definitely think that the person has to be physically attractive. I don't know if that's a quality, but
It is.
physically attractive. I definitely want somebody that's knows God, has an intimate relationship with him. I responsible, dependable, trustworthy. I want somebody that's not gonna back down to me. Like, I need somebody that is friendly and loves my kids and is adaptable. Like, I want somebody that's not so stuck in their ways that they can't see another side of something.
Okay, and specifically for a man, like, not just with your personal life, but in your mind, a man should be X, Y, and Z.
Okay, it's a different question. A man should be, I don't think I have anything like that.
Really?
Like, a man should be.
Yeah, like, what is
give me what you say for a woman, and then I'll get a better idea of what you're saying.
As a woman, what's the type of man that you want? Now, I know you said like kind of my kids, but I mean more like just on like a nature level, like nurturing. So for me, like, as a woman in my life, I'm not saying women should be this, but this is what I would like: nurturing, caring, kind, a communicator, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I said all those things, right?
You said, yeah, good with your kids. It was kind of personal, but okay.
Thought it was supposed to be personal. Maybe I misunderstood the assignment. My bad.
So someone that's not selfish says, Kayla Jeffries. What up, Kayla? I don't know if I've seen you on here before, but welcome. Jay said, that's what I was about to say. That Martin and Gina, dark skinned Viv, and Uncle Phil. Shannon says what she said. Jay says, taller than me, ambitious, family oriented, a great communicator, patient, kind, loving, nurturing, and pretty feet. All right, with the feet.
Y'all don't click the link on YouTube, okay? Somebody on YouTube put new site with hot girls.
I mean, if they click that, that's their business.
They're going to be on Facebook. That's like, don't accept no new friend requests from me, y'all. Somebody hacked me. Nah, you need to stop clicking
I
them
don't know
links.
how this happened. You know, open up a link you weren't supposed to open up.
Candace says, wisdom, confidence, responsible, compassionate, self-aware, a go-getter, patient, kind, and loving. And Jay says, that's a must. I think the pretty feet was the part.
How much of those things are negotiable, right? Like, that's such a interesting dynamic, right? Like, when you come to the beginning of a relationship, of course those are like the things that we come to the table with that are like, okay, in my mind, this is the type of woman that I need. But just like with us, right? You came to the table like, no, I need a man that can fix some stuff because, you know, but you saw that wasn't what I was. But you found other things that you found valuable that, like, you know what, I can compromise on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you love God definitely outweighed the fact that you couldn't fix nothing. And I think that on my list. Like when we talk about nature or nurture, or like who you are as a person versus what you can do.
Yeah.
I ain't compromising on that stuff. Like who you are as a person, I don't think
Absolutely.
I would compromise on any of that.
Nah, you can't. Character stuff, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't play with that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll compromise. Maybe if your feet ain't the cutest, or you can't fix anything, or you know, I do drive a little crazy and like you feel a little unsafe. If you're like, I just want somebody that I feel safe with, but that part of me don't make you feel safe. But the fact that you can trust me, the fact that you can trust your kids around me, the fact that I am caring, like those things, like you said, character things, I can't compromise on.
Yeah, that's a big no for me.
You only tell the truth sometimes, but he's still a good man. Like, nah. Like,
yeah, I don't play with them red flags.
You tell the truth all the time,
whether
whether it's gonna hurt me or not.
I was talking with this one girl, and she told me how she steals. I think we talked about this on the pod one time.
Yeah, I hate it.
She steals sometimes. I was like, you said what? Like, yeah, you know I steal sometimes. I was like, hold on, what do you mean? I mean,
she
like,
gonna rob you.
She's like, you trying to tell me that every time you go through self-checkout, you ring out everything? Yes. Yes, I scan everything. You don't? I mean, don't be like big stuff, like little stuff, like, you know, maybe I'll get like a candy bar or something. I'm like, nah. I couldn't get over it. I really tried. I tried not to be judgy.
Yeah.
But it was character stuff. Like there's something in you. And even the way she presented it, like, you trying to tell me you never do that. I'm like, nah, I don't do that.
Yeah. No, I mess with, well, I won't say mess with, but I talked to a guy who was just like comfortable just admitting that he doesn't take like showers and baths regularly. And by regularly, I mean like would go like a week without doing that.
Ooh.
And I was like, you know what? You just nasty. Like, and if I choose to be intimate with you, like I can't trust the fact that you're clean in any aspect. So I just can't go there with you.
Smelly?
I didn't really get that close to him. I mean, we were just like,
it was. Oh, he didn't even make it to cuddle time.
Like,
oh,
nah,
dang! Tragedy.
I'm like, you know what? It's just some stuff that I just can't get over. Candace says, kind, respectful, chivalrous. I want to know of the characteristics that you all listed out. If you're in a relationship, does your partner meet all of those? Were there things that you compromised on?
They is not going to answer that.
Why not?
Because that's how they get into trouble.
The real conversations with real people.
Tell me why I saw this. He said you ain't none of the stuff that he asked.
You ain't got to say which ones. Maybe she don't got pretty feet. You ain't got to say which ones, but do they check all the boxes? You asked them were some negotiable. Maybe some of those things were negotiable when they got with their partner.
You find somebody to check off all the boxes, you winning. That's so rare.
The stuff that I named off, you checked off all those boxes.
Yeah, but that's you just left off the stuff that you already compromised on.
True.
Because ain't nothing getting fixed.
But I compromised on that from the gate because, like you said, but the character stuff, I didn't compromise on that. And all the stuff that they've listed out, besides, of course, the pretty feet, it's like, and taller than me, it's like character stuff.
That's real. That's real. Honest, trustworthy, not selfish. 100%.
Wiggy, you got some time. So I
Where
play the Jeopardy music.
Man, my live, where my comments go? Jay said, "Yeah, I seen Boomerang." Talking about the feet.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I thought it was a great conversation, and it was so organic. I didn't know where it was going at first. When we came downstairs, we always do like a pre-show meeting, and we talk about what we're talking about today. And when she said it, I was like, where we going with that? But it went really well. And
I would really love for the next part of this conversation to happen next week, because I think then we have to go a little bit further. There was a door that was opened about the dynamics between the Black family structure and Black men and Black women. And I believe that's the next level conversation that we should be having. So I'm really hopeful that we can do that next week. There's another level, because we can't always talk about just the problems. Like, how do we fix it?
And I'm be honest with you, I don't know if I got the answer, Sway.
I mean, you can talk about what you're doing in your own relationship.
That's real. That's real. All right, y'all. Any questions? We are drawing nigh. I think we got about 15 minutes left.
15.
That would make it an hour. That's usually where we at.
My live say 54 because you started recording.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Marcina Willis Tyrant says, I think check boxes are overrated. The person who genuinely falls in love with you will become everything that you want and need through transparent conversations. That's a lie.
Wait, read it again. She says,
I think check boxes are overrated. The person who genuinely falls in love with you will become everything that you want and need through transparent conversations. That is a lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's true when you have someone who's willing to change, someone who's willing to become that, right?
Is the important
for sure.
part,
That's the big key, because sometimes you have people who might genuinely love you. They're just dead set in their ways. Like, I'm not gonna change. This is who I am, and I hear you. I hear you telling me what you need, but I can't be that for you.
And to me, if you're asking someone to change and it goes against the nature of who they are, like who they are as a person, like maybe you need me to be strong and the leader, but by nature, I'm just not that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They can only pretend for so long. If that's at their core, not who they are, eventually the real person will show up. Like, if that's not who I am, I can't be that just because you want me to be that. Yeah. In any aspect. So just because we talk and I really love you, I mean, genuinely, I love you, I'm not going to change just because you want me to.
Yeah.
Especially when it's not hurtful or helpful. It's just not something that you necessarily admire in me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's going to be tough because even when you have someone who's like maybe really loves you and is willing to, but is finding it difficult, there's that tension. There's a lot of people right now who are just in these drawn out relationships with someone who's saying, I can change. I promise you I can do better. But they keep going around this cycle of, I did it again. Oops, I'm sorry, I did it again. It's like, I'm waiting for you to be the person you said you were going to be. And it's like, that's just not me.
Yeah, like, I genuinely love Russell. But if he told me, like, I don't want you ever to talk back. Like, when I say something and I make a decision, that's just it. You got a problem.
Yeah. You got do your work, man.
I'm gonna do the very best that I can to meet that expectation, but that's just a go. Even when it's not in a defiant manner, if you say something and I just genuinely don't agree with that, I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah.
Regardless of how bad, if you like, look, I don't like that. Stop doing that. It's never gonna happen. Surprise.
Don't be antagonizing. Don't do that.
But you told me that you don't necessarily want that either.
No, I don't. If you genuinely disagree, I can deal with that. Let's have a conversation. Mm-hmm. I just don't like the I'm gonna get the last word. Like, you're wrong, but I got a safe face. That's the stuff to me. Be like, okay, and we don't have those dynamics, but no. I'm just saying that'd be the type of stuff to me that would be like. Yeah.
She made emphasis on genuinely in love. She said that's true, and that's when you decide they're genuinely not for you.
That part,
all of that.
Absolutely.
And we got to stop being so scared to make that decision.
Man, we do stuff so backwards. Because by the time it's time to make that decision, by the time you assess like this person ain't good for me, you've already got hooked on the other stuff, right? Like, I don't want to be with them, but. That's that thing she do got me in a chokehold, or you know what I mean, like the way she do, I'm stuck.
Or it could even be like, maybe if y'all blended families, like, we're all one family now. Like, my kids love him, my kids love her. No, but
they just
my kids, my family love him. So like, I'm trying to work it out. I'm trying to stay. Like, we got to be able to know when a situation doesn't serve us anymore, and stop trying to save face for everybody that's on the outside looking in. Like, oh, y'all just have such a great relationship, but in the house you miserable. Yeah. Walk away. Be able to walk away from those situations that's genuinely not for you. If you can assess that, don't be scared to walk away from that, unless you're married. Then you got to do some work. That part. Go ahead.
Marcina says, that's controlling. Your requests have to be within reason. You don't talk back to your parents. My husband is not my daddy.
My mama might disagree with that statement, but I be trying not to talk back to her. Candace on YouTube says, Brandy, we're the same person. I get that a lot.
Who said that?
Candace on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube. I think, that's the same. I don't know why comments show up twice here.
Yeah.
Any more questions, comments before we skedaddle?
I do want to say this. I want men who are not. I need men who aren't religious to stop wanting women to be submissive. Right, like
I only believe in that part of the Bible. I don't believe in that. No.
That's what messed me up. It's like, man, women's supposed to be submissive. Where you get that from? Right, like that's in the Bible. You don't do nothing else the Bible say. You don't live your life from nothing that's in this book, but you want her to submit to that part. You want her to listen to that part because that's what's supposed to be.
Because it serves you.
Yeah. But you, like, we already talked about this, but nothing about you is even the type of man that would even give a woman a desire to be like, I trust you. Right? Like, I don't necessarily, I'm scared to do this. Like, let's just say I come next week and say, babe, I got a call for this job in
New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. Like, I feel strongly that this is what I'm gonna pray about it, but something about it I don't know. You like, I don't know, my job here, blah, blah, blah. Baby, if I come to you 2 weeks later and say, babe, I've been fasting praying about it, and I know for a fact that this is what God is leading us to do.
Mm-hmm.
If she before this has never heard me say nothing about God, she's never seen me pray, she's never seen me crack open the Bible ever.
I'd be like, God don't talk to you.
You don't even know him.
Stop make believing.
Right?
If you want to go, just say that. But don't be bringing God into it when you ain't talked to him at another point in your life. You
know what I mean? But this is when it gets difficult, right? And I think we use submission for like a day-by-day thing, which means, oh, you the woman, you supposed to cook, you're supposed to do this. I'm the man. I'm supposed to go to work and bring home the biggest check because I'm the man. You're supposed to submit to me. Clearly, you don't know what that means, right? We're talking about being in a position where you're tapped in, you seeking God, you tapped into what God's saying, and you're being a priest in your household. You praying over your family. You praying with your family. That's what that's supposed to be, right? Y'all can stop throwing around that word submission just because you think that's what a woman's supposed to do. It's a different time. This ain't 1950, right? Like the woman that we sit across the table from is not the same woman that was, lived back then. It's a different era.
That's a whole nother conversation. But Marcina says God don't be talking to half the people that be saying he told them something. A whole nother conversation. So we not even gonna open that Pandora's box. But facts.
That part. All right, y'all. Yeah, we finna slide. No questions, nothing else from the people. Okay. What say ye?
I'm good.
You're good. Tuesday we'll be back with another episode. Wednesday we will be live. Right? Unless barring any emergency or family problem, we will be live. So yeah, tap in with us. Y'all are so dope. We appreciate you guys.
Make sure to like the post. Please share the post. And if you want to support the show, you can support it by going on Facebook and liking all of our posts and leaving some comments if you may. You can hit us up on our Cash App, which is $ what they never told us. Or this video, you can leave stars. Stars also turn into money for us. So all awesome ways to support the show, but you also support the show by just being here. And we thank you. We appreciate you. We love.